There it goes. Good morning, everybody. We are going to go ahead and look at 3 different extensions today on how to take attendance in Google Meet. One of them we'll also talk about does a breakout room. Tina is here. Tina didn't know she'd be called upon so much, but she gave me an extension yesterday or Tuesday, and I couldn't get to work till yesterday. So I'm going to walk through it the best I can, and she's going to correct me when I mess up. So let's go ahead and get started. So I gave you 4 extensions to install. We have Meet Attendance. That's the first one we'll go over. Google Meet Attendance, which is the one Tina recommended, which is the one I was having issues with. Grid View Fix and Attendance and Breakout. The Grid View Fix is necessary for the Meet Attendance and for the Breakout attendance one. So that has to be installed. If you remember in the beginning of the closure, we rolled out an extension called Grid View. And as soon as that was working fine, but Google went ahead and created their own Grid View. It allows you to see 9 people at a time. When they pushed out theirs, it broke the original Grid View. And remember, we talk about extensions. These are just normal people that are just writing code, seeing something could be fixed, and they try and fix it. But as soon as they pushed theirs, the original Grid View broke, and so somebody saw it and decided to take that code, because it's open source, take that code and fix what was wrong. And so the fix actually works. I've had it installed since the fix was rolled out. On my screen right now, I see 34 people. So yeah, the fix works. So we're going to go through all of them. We're going to start with Meet Attendance. Meet Attendance was the first one we talked about in Closure as well, as we were kind of wondering what's going on in Closure. Are we taking attendance? Are we not taking attendance? So this is the one. And honestly, we could never really get this thing to work properly. It was always kind of hit or miss, so to speak. And we kind of found a way to make it more accurate. I did this on Wednesday, and there was a delay. So let's see what happens today. But when you install the Meet Attendance and you click on the people, you should see a clipboard appear, and you can see it's not showing up. Beautiful. Let me see if I could open it up again. It's double beautiful. I can see Meet Attendance is running here. It says it has access to the site it's supposed to be running. I don't think the other extensions are blocking this. But this is just Meet Attendance having issues. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the other 2 first, and then I'm going to go disable those extensions, and then come back and show you Meet Attendance. Meet Attendance, I made a quick video on it, but you should see a clipboard appearing in between here. And once again, it's not working. It's been the most inconsistent of all of these. So yeah. All right, that was an easy one. So let's go ahead and look at the second one, which was Tina's. Now, if you look on my screen, I have this sort of faded. If I move away from it, you can't really see it probably. You probably think there's a glare on my screen. But that's actually an extension running. And Tina, chime in anytime. So when you set this up, you're going to add in your class rosters to this. And as soon as you add it in, it's just taking attendance immediately. Am I correct in that, Tina?
You don't need to add any rosters. It just takes it from your people chat area. So you
but
don't
if I
want,
but if I wanted to compare, because I loaded in a class list.
Got it. I have not tried that. I just pulled people from the actual meeting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I did notice that too. I had a meeting one time and I didn't load anybody in there. And it just, but the nice thing about this one is I'm going to go ahead and click on this HTML file because it looks really nice. And so that just downloaded everybody that's in here right now, and it's going to open up. So this was, yeah, so this is, so Tina, when I loaded in my roster, this is the entire school. Well, I won't say entire school, it's the entire Google Classroom. And you can see these are all the people that are in here. And then what's nice about this, it tells you the times they're in. And you can see the checkoffs of who's here and who's not. And there's some more descriptions down there. So you could load your rosters to see it, or you could just not do it at all, Tina, and it'll just put everybody in here. So that's completely up to you. But I like this. This is nice because it really shows you how long they're in there for, if they're coming and going. Like Drew Johansson showed up a little late, and then he left for a little bit, came back, and left again. So no, I like this one a lot. So if you're looking for something that will tell you who's here, and it does it automatically, you could load in your rosters like I did, or you could just not load it, just take it, kick them out. Or you could just take it as is. It's up to you. Tina, am I missing anything on this one? Because I do like this. I really, Jane was telling me that she's not a fan of spreadsheets. And I said, Tina's is not a spreadsheet. It's a colorful HTML file, which is what this is.
Well, you get a choice of either the Excel or this file. You can save either one or both.
Correct. I really like this one.
Tina showed me the spreadsheet, not the HTML. And when she picked the HTML, we didn't know what was happening. So we went back to the spreadsheet. Just want to clarify.
I was learning.
Okay, well, don't put me in the middle here.
No, I do like this one a lot. It tells you the time it started, and it'll tell you the time it ended, and it's doing it automatically. So as we're going through this whole thing, it's just going to be continuing to keep the track of time.
Hey, Kevin, Kevin, I'm clueless. Can you show me how you got there again? What I have the extension loaded, and how did you get to that little gray
Do you
box?
see the little, can you hover over your little box where it is?
Up here at the top?
When you can you look on my screen?
I'm looking at your screen.
Do you see the, it should be towards the left top.
Oh, you mean the little, I see like little icons up there, like a little hand and the little.
No. Below that. Below that, you should see this. I don't know if you're looking at the screen.
Is it just permanently there, or did you click on something for it to show up?
No, as soon as you install the extension, it should show up when you start your Meet.
Oh,
they might have to leave and come back in. I've noticed that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
You might have to do that.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
let me do that. I'll do that and see if it shows up. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Will kids see that as well on my screen?
No, well, I'm presenting, so you could see it on my screen. But if I wasn't presenting my screen, like if I go here to a different tab, oh, you still can see something because I'm looking at a secondary screen. What is that? Can you guys see that? Because I do. You don't see anything? Okay.
So Kevin,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think. So the class can see, because when I go underneath like the little thumb and the person raising their hand, I can see class list, and then I can see 22 participants and all that. So would that mean that the class can see it? I guess it doesn't matter if they see it.
It doesn't matter, but yeah, this goes with Jerry's question, because Jerry just asked, she said, does it only work for the person who is hosting, or can anyone take attendance? Anybody can.
Okay.
So if you were to drag over, do you see how you have like the little floppy disk to save? If you go over one more, there's the HTML. If you click the HTML, if you click that, that's going to go ahead and give you that sort of HTML file that we saw here.
Okay. Except, you know what? I don't think it shows that I'm on.
Okay, so that actually, I'll explain that here, is because it's tied in with grid view, there's a setting in grid view that says, make me part of the grid. And so if you don't have that checked off, it's not going to count you.
Oh, how's that?
Yeah, it's they're really tied to grid view. So yeah, I think the output of this one is very nice. You could load in your rosters. You don't have to, as Tina said, but Yeah. Tina, anything else? Because you've used this more than I have. I got 1 day of it.
Well, before you guys actually start, you should be setting this up. So if you guys take a look at his screen, you guys see the little wheel at the bottom, the settings. You want to click on that and change or click on certain things. There you go. So make sure you have that blue box that he has on there clicked. If you wanted to auto save, which I highly recommend because a lot of us will probably forget at the end of the period. The third one down, it's a little hard to see. It says auto save HTML or auto save the CSV, which is an Excel file. I would check on both of those just to see which one you guys like first, and then you can change that afterwards when you've chosen one that you do like. So when you leave the meeting, it automatically sends you those files, or it downloads those files. So it does not go into your Google Drive. You actually have to take a look at it and save it to whatever file or whatever place you want to save it at.
Jerry Burnside says, so grid view must be enabled. Yes, you have to take the slash mark out of it. And Tina's right with these. It's funny because they have these settings, which they say recommended to have turned on, but they turn them off. So yeah, make sure you guys go to your settings and check at least the first two, and then whichever file you want to save. Or like Tina said, it's a good idea at the beginning, save them both, and then you figure out which one you like. Jane does not like spreadsheets, so she would probably select the HTML file.
Tina or Kevin, as I scroll over my class list, you know, with all those things you were just talking about, the HTML, it says there's 28 people, but then I look up at the class and it says there's 35 people. What's the discrepancy?
That is a good question. Let me see what mine says.
I read something about the fact that if somebody doesn't have their camera on, it won't include them. Is that
mine says no, mine says 34. Let me click on the spreadsheet here. So I just downloaded another one. And
mine says 33, but it doesn't include me. So
yeah, mine includes me. So yeah, mine, Janet, I don't know why yours hasn't up. You have the grid view fix running. You could see everybody?
No, I cannot. Grid view fix.
Janet, I see what you're saying because mine's doing the same thing. There's a discrepancy, so mine's doing the same thing. But Kevin, if we take the strike mark off the grid view, then we don't get to see everyone.
No. If you have the stripe mark gone, you should see everybody.
Okay.
You have to install the fix. If you don't have if you're running the old grid view, uninstall it. And to uninstall extensions, you have to go into your Chrome settings to your extensions.
Okay.
And then just click remove when you see something that. So I have grid view fix. If I had the other grid view, I would just remove it.
Okay. Okay.
It's broken.
Okay.
I have everybody on there now. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Once again, I say this all the time. These extensions are not supposed to be permanent fixes. Google's rolling out their own grid view that'll hold up to 49 people. They're rolling out their own breakout rooms. They're rolling out all this stuff. This is a nice Band-Aid. This actually might be like one of those super tough Band-Aids because it's fixing it. These two extensions that we're talking about, this one, and then we'll talk about the breakout rooms, they work really, really well. But as soon as Google rolls out some sort of update to Google Meet, there's a chance that it could break these extensions. So as soon as Google rolls out their official ones, I will take a look at them, but probably recommend, hey, just use Google's official breakout rooms, Google's official grid view. Jerry has another question. Yeah, Jerry, it says this is an unauthorized extension. Dad, don't worry about that. The authorized one is the one that doesn't work. So just keep this one on there. Okay, so that is, and once again, these names, Tina told me it was Meet Attendance, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm running Meet Attendance. It's not that good. She's like, no, it's Google Meet Attendance. So it's this second one is the one we just did, Google Meet Attendance. So let's go ahead and take a look at the breakout
Sorry,
one.
Kevin, can I interrupt and just remind people of the fact that if you go into a different meeting, it'll pull all of the people that are in your current meeting into that list unless you clear it. So Kevin, can you hover over
Yeah,
your,
I'm hovering.
there you go.
That-
So you see that little,
Eraser.
yeah, the eraser with the purple tip. You need to clear the attendance unless you want a file that is huge. I mean, it's not going to make a difference. It's still going to take your current attendance. The only thing is now it's going to include all the people from the last class, and you might have a big, huge file. But it's not an issue if you're okay with that.
Hey, quick question on the attendance on the HTML. When I'm looking at it, I have names jumbled up. How can I alphabetize them?
It's done by your first names. It's alphabetized by first name. At least, oh, that's because I dumped in the roster. So by dumping in the roster, I have it alphabetized. Is it random when you guys don't have a roster loaded? I don't know if you guys could check if you're looking at Tina, does it just randomize it or is it still alphabetical?
Mine is random.
Yeah, I'm looking at the ones that these people here aren't in Google Classroom and they're just random. Which, by the way, these people that aren't in Google Classroom, I'm a little disappointed. Okay.
I think it's by the time that they actually entered the class.
Well, it go up to Van Setten is the roster I loaded.
Got it.
So, yeah. So it doesn't alphabet, but if you can see if you load in a roster, it's alphabetized by a roster. So, you know, it is what it is. Once again, these are not official. Like this is what I'm going to use forever. But if you dump in a roster, it'll be alphabetized. And Kate just confirmed it doesn't alphabetize. Okay. Yeah. So Jerry says there's so many people in this meeting. I can't see Kevin's screen. Yeah, because we have grid view installed. Yeah, there's nothing I could say, but you're right. We need a bigger screen, or yeah, I know. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the second one. So
Wait,
that was
Kevin, can you just to interrupt one more time? Tell me where I'm supposed to go to get rid of the initial grid view.
so go to if you go to the settings over here, the three little dots. You see the three little dots?
Yeah.
Then go down to more tools
Yes.
and then extensions.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
And then that'll take you to this page. You could just search for it. So I would just
Okay.
search grid view and you'll be able to dump it real quick.
Perfect.
Okay, so the second one is the breakout room one. And when you install it, you should see this little guy here. And so when you come in, what you want to do is refresh your attendance list. Oh, there it goes. So there's 34 people in here. Now, this one's nice to where I could just copy it and paste it somewhere. I could paste it in the chat. So let's say I just want to know who's here. So I would click on this. Oops, I clicked on the wrong one. Uh-oh, there it goes. I would copy this list and then I could go to the chat and then just paste it into the chat to say who's here. That's going to open up. So these are all the people that are currently in here. Okay. If I want to compare who's here and who's not, I would click on the comparison list. Now, once again, let me go ahead and put in, I don't have a roster loaded. Let me see. I do have this guy. This is everybody that was in our Google Classroom last night. So I could paste in the list, and then I can compare. And if I copy that list, I could then go ahead and paste it into the chat again. This one actually does not, it doesn't export it. You could save it, but it doesn't, it's not a spreadsheet. And then you could see the check marks say who's here and who's not. Okay. So that's how you do chat, or I'm sorry, attendance on this guy. If you want to do a breakout room. So once again, let me go through that one more time. You would hit to refresh, make sure you have your attendance taken. You would have your roster in here. If you're comparing, if you just want the regular attendance, you would take attendance, copy that list. You could paste it into a spreadsheet. You could paste it into chat. Because if you're recording your meet, remember, if you're recording your meet, you would get a copy of the chat at the end. It's part of it. So you do get that. But you could paste it into the chat. You can paste it into a spreadsheet if you have it open. But if you want to compare, just like the other one, you have to have that roster loaded and then paste in the roster, hit compare. It'll spit out little red X's for everybody that's not here, green check marks for everybody that is. Is that making sense? Yes.
Kevin, so I got kicked out for a minute. I don't know if you talked about this. In the settings for the attendance, can you click on that? Because I was asking if you could do it by last name. If you click on the settings there, it gives you an option to sort by last name.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I had it sorted by first name because I noticed that when we did our Google chats, the first name is first. If you sort it by last name, let me see if the first name doesn't change. Oops. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you could do it by last name because you could see Acosta's first. Hey, Paul, I'm proud of you for being here. Acosta is first, then Bilton. So it's alphabetical. So you could have done it this way as well. So yeah, Janet, you could do it by last name, and that would definitely match up with your attendance.
Okay, now go over to the list that tells you who's not here. And can you scroll all the way up to the top?
This is alphabetized by first name. So let me
so you can't do that then. Okay.
Well, I got to hit the compare button again. It's got to work through it. I think it doesn't like the fact that there's 91 people on this list.
Yeah.
I'm going to clear it. Yeah, it's not clearing.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm assuming if everything's sorted by first or by last name, then it would spit out the final one by last name.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's the attendance piece of this one. It's the thing that's nicer about the other one is it's doing it automatically. Here I actually have to come in, hit the refresh, make sure it's taking some. So I do have to do a little work here. If you install this one, the benefit is that you also get your groups to generate your groups and breakout rooms. So let me open this up. Let me generate my groups here. This is a practice one from yesterday. So it's a simple drop down. How many groups? We have 39 people in here. So we'll go 10 groups again. We'll go 10. I'll generate my groups. There's my groups. Now, the way you would do this is you actually can do breakout rooms with Google Meet right now. And Joe Joe's here. Kuzam did it in summer. And basically what it is, it's a lot of front loading. It's a lot of, I need to start X amount of meets and I need to tell these people, these are the groups you're going to. So it's totally doable. But this, what it does is it just puts everybody into groups automatically. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's also going to make the code. So what I would do is I just hit generate groups. These are generated randomly, and I would hit copy groups. Then I'd go back to the chat room and I'd say, okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and break into groups. I'm going to go ahead and post the groups right now. So I would say, here's the groups. Group 1, Steven Hernandez, Drew, David, and Janet. And you would say, here's your groups, okay? And it's done randomly. And then if I wanted to do the links, I would then copy meet links, click that, and post them. Now, this has been a topic that we've talked about before with kids being able to create links. These kids cannot go into these meet links until you go ahead and start them. And I would just paste them in. They can't go in. Now, if you guys click those on, you would be able to go in because you're a teacher. You have that ability to create a Google Meet. Students do not. So if a student was like, oh, I'm going to get in there first and take control, they cannot do that. Okay, so you could post these and they just can't. Now, let's say that you didn't want to randomize it. You wanted to say, you know what, I know what groups I want. I know the 4 people I want to put together. Then you don't have to copy the groups. You don't have to copy those at all. You could just copy the links and say group 1, ... go ahead. Okay. What you have to do as a teacher, once you post these links, is you do have to start them. Now, you could start as many meets as you want. I would recommend that when I started, so I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one. It's going to go over here.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin. So when it generates the groups, they don't necessarily have to go to that number, right?
No,
So
but
it's just-
since you have, since you have the groups written down, as soon as you go in there and you see that, like, let's say Drew's like, oh, I don't want to be in group 1. I want to be in group, I don't know, 7. So you would be able to see, okay, Drew, you're in the wrong group.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I'm just wondering. So you could just make the copy links and then post that and say, hey, you guys go here.
Correct. That's what I was saying. So if you don't want to randomize the groups, if you know who you want to go, just copy the links, paste them, and say group 1, Steven Hernandez, Drew Johansson, Will Lares, Sergio Hopman, and they would all go.
Okay. And you have to click the link and join the meeting in order for them to be in it.
Yes. Once again, you as a teacher are the only ones that can start these kind of meetings. Students cannot. Okay. So students will go ahead and click it on, and it's just going to say you don't have permission to start it. So as you can see on the screen here, Steven's already in here. Steven's a teacher, so he's able to start this meeting. So that's why he's already in the meeting, that he went to the first breakout room. And you can see here, what I recommend that you do is you turn off your microphone, you turn off your camera, and then you go ahead and join the meet. Because then what the students are going to see, they're going to see that picture of you, your little avatar, your little icon. That's all they're going to see. They're not going to know, is he listening? Is he there? And then I still wouldn't even turn on my camera when I want to talk to him. I would just turn on the microphone and just say, hey, you guys, 5 more minutes, good conversation, whatever you want to do. That's how I would do it. I would just unmute myself. Does that make sense?
So you can talk to like 5 groups simultaneously that way, right?
Yeah, if you unmuted everybody's group, yeah, you could talk.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I have a quick question. So Kevin, so you click the link and then you tell the kids to go click the link after you've clicked it. Is that right?
Correct. You need to start it first. So you could say, after you open them all up, you could say, okay, go ahead and go to your groups.
Okay, so, but when you click the first link and then you go out and you go to the next one and so forth, Well, I technically my little icon or whatever, my little, avatar, my camera's off. Will it stay there even though I've moved from one to the next to the next?
Yep. So if I click join this meeting over here with David Kim's now over there, if I go over here, you can see I'm part of their meeting, but I'm still in this one over here with you.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Is that making sense?
Yes, that makes sense. Okay.
Perfect. And that's all you have to do. It's nice. And then if you want to, I mean, you could start up the attendance again to take attendance in here. There's this one here from Tina's. It has the whole class list, so that's probably the bad thing. I'd probably want to clear that one out. Or I could go ahead and run this attendance here, say, okay, there's 3 people in here. And then I could copy that list, and then I could, do attendance like normal. Is that making sense to everybody? Yeah. Yes? Okay.
So you use 2 different attendance extensions in that case, right?
Yeah, you could use as many as you want. I personally, I think Tina's is great for attendance. I really love the color codedness, especially if you preload your rosters. I think that's awesome. I wish that whoever wrote that code would also write a breakout room one. There's nothing wrong with this attendance here. It's just more clicky. I've got to refresh my list. Then I've got to. Yeah, I could just take the attendance list as is, but it's nicer that the other one just does it, This one requires a few clicks. Jane asks, how do you end those meetings? Yeah, you have to make sure everybody leaves the meeting. So this still has not changed. Google hasn't said anything, but when you leave the meeting, you have to be the last person because these are called quick links and quick code links. And what happens is they will close within a minute or so after the last person leaves. So if I'm the teacher and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out, and I leave and there's still students in there, they could do whatever they want in there. That room's going to stay open. Now, with the update that's rolling out, that could be fixed. But right now, you just tell everybody you got to go and they all leave. And then you close it, and then within a minute, it shuts down. Any questions on that one? I'm looking at anything else here. And then you could go ahead and regenerate the groups if you want to change it up again. So you're like, oh, I don't want 10. I could change this. And if you want this to go away, just click the little hollow man and it'll disappear. Let me see any other questions. Let me scroll back up. Any questions with any of these? You could unmute, you could put it in the chat. It's up to you. Oops.
Kevin?
Yes.
So with the breakout rooms, if we want the kids to come back to the main Google Meet, we just make sure we tell them not to close any of the tabs, correct?
Correct.
The
You would tell them,
meeting tab?
right. You could tell them to mute that room, but tell them don't close the tab and just say keep it open, and then give them 10 minutes and just say close where you're at and come back.
And then for us as teachers, if we're in every single breakout room, we don't close the tabs as well, correct?
Right. I mean, because I'm looking at Tina, because Tina's like, they could go back in later. I mean, technically, if I close everybody's tab and everybody's in this room, I don't know if somebody now has just clicked on that link. Because remember, it does live for a minute. My recommendation would be to just leave them all open until class is over and then go back and close them, unless your computer is like super slow and dying, which might happen. But I think most kids aren't going to try and stay in a Google Meet. That's just my opinion, especially when you tell them they have to come back. Yeah. So I would think as soon as you see everybody leave, I think you're pretty safe to close them up. Janet, can a student share their screen while in a breakout room? Being that you started it you're the only one that has that ability. And once again, Google does have more control over that, more control features coming with the update. Once again, these are Band-Aids. These are not permanent fixes. I think these are two really, really good solutions, though. I think the attendance, if you just care about attendance piece, my recommendation, use the first one we talked about, the, let me come over here to the add-on. It's this one is the second one. If you want to use just attendance, use that. You don't have to load in your rosters. If you load in your rosters, it's alphabetized. You see who's here. That's up to you. If you care about breakout rooms and attendance, I would go with this one. Graceland Hayes also sent another attendance one. It was a little bit more, I don't know, the setup was a lot. So, but there's tons. If you just go to the Chrome Web Store and type in one of them, just if you think it looks good, shoot it to me. That's exactly what happened with these two. Grace sent me this breakout room one, and Tina sent this other Meet attendance one. So we're full of everything going on here. So if you see something and you want me to check it out, just send it to me, and I'll definitely take a look at it and share it out with you guys. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Jane. Okay, any other questions with attendance? So these, like I said, if you want attendance, number 2 is good. If you need the breakout room piece, I would go with number 4. As you can see, I've got both of them running at the same time, and it's not really doing anything. It's just working. So you could have them both and keep them both at the same time. And poor Meet attendance, this poor little Apple, it still hasn't loaded up. I'll be honest, I'll send a video on how to, if all you want is that one spits out a spreadsheet time-stamped all the time. It worked on Wednesday. It showed up on Wednesday with all these other extensions loaded, but it just didn't load this time. So yeah, Meet attendance, but the other ones are fine. Anything else? I'm going to stop recording here and then see if you guys have any other questions. Oops.
Kevin, I got a question.
Yeah. Who is that? Keith.
It's Keith. When I go to the HTML, it just shows the time of 8:22. Did I click on something that prevents it from kind of keeping showing the time the whole time?
Do you have the oh no, it's only going to take a timestamp. Like when you do that, that's when it clicks on that file. It doesn't, because it's a downloaded file, it's not live. So it's not like you're always going to keep seeing it get bigger and bigger. So if I go to the one I downloaded here, it stops at 8:13 because that's when I said for the file to go, but it's now 8:47. So that's why Tina's recommendation of checking the autosave is nice, because it'll give it to you. And the other thing it does, let me see this thing. There it goes. It gives you this sort of reminder here of checking it. Tina, does this actually update the thing? I'm looking at your face here.
I don't know. Let me. I don't know. I've always ended it at the very end of the week. So.
Yeah. So, but it's still there as sort of like a reminder for you to do it. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it kind of goes green for a little bit. Now, let's see. I'm going to come up here where my attendance sheet's gone. Oh, I think that turns it off and on. Oh my gosh. Hey, that's nice. That's very nice. So this guy turns it off and on to where you don't have to have this sort of hovering here. But yeah, Keith, you would have to update it when you go to leave. So if I now click on it here, I'll let it download one more time because we're getting ready to leave. So now, oh wait, this did not update because it's still 8:13. That's interesting. And now my little things are gone. That's not good. I could save it as a CVS file. Let's see what this looks like. That's my cat. I don't know if you could hear it. That's so yeah, the CVS file goes all the way to 847 where we're at. It's not, as you can see, this is probably why Jane was like, this is ugly. It's not as nice as the HTML files. Okay, I'm now going to stop recording. And then if you have any questions, we'll go ahead and finish them up. Oh, it's saved in Tina. Tina, were you the first one in here?